What's up, everybody? Les Edwins here. Let me give you something from an OG's perspective. Now, look here. We want to talk about some things like dating women back in the day when I was coming up. See, I'm an OG, so I want to tell some of you young G's what it was like. Because you guys are experiencing a whole different kind of thing nowadays, dating women. Well, let me tell you what it was back in the '70s, how that went down. Okay, '70s and '80s. Now, see, when I was coming up, high school and all that kind of stuff, a lot of the girls had their favorite picks, like the jocks and all that kind of stuff. You had to be a football player or a basketball player or something like that. You had to have some status in high school for the girls to notice you. you know. And if you wasn't that good looking guy, man, you was the one that nobody talked to. You was the one walking down the hall, by yourself all the time, and the loner guy, what they so called nerds, that was you. The guy with the pimples and all that kind of stuff, and that all the girls laughed at and all the guys laughed at and that kind of stuff, you know. And I can tell you, man, from my experience, coming up in the '70s and '80s and that kind of stuff, when it came to dating women, girls, women, whichever way you want to look at it, I can tell you how it went down. Let me tell you this, like I said, from an OG's perspective. Back in the day, you know, we had to call women. We didn't have no cell phones, man. We didn't have none of that kind of stuff. No access to no internet and none of that kind of stuff and all that kind of stuff that's going on now. We had rotary phones. And if you was anything special, if you was the cool family on the block, you might have had those push button phones, with two different numbers. How many of y'all remember that? Any OGs out there checking it out? How many of y'all remember that push button phone, man? But typically you had the rotary phone. And the way women dealt with things as far as dating is that we men, boys, men, whichever way you want to look at it, we had to call them. Oh no, women, and the girls and stuff like that, they would not take your phone number as a man. No, you had to call them. You had to call them if you want to get a date. And guess what? If you got her on the phone at home, because like I said, we didn't have no cell phones and nothing like that where you can make repeated calls and finally catch her, you call that girl at her house. And if you got lucky enough to catch her on the phone, that is if she was interested in you in the first place. If she was interested in you in the first place and you actually got her telephone number, you was lucky. Okay? And if you wanted to date her and go out and do something with her, man, she made you call her. Okay? She made you call her. And this is what the girls did back in the day. I'm just telling you from where I'm coming from, what I know. You got the girl on the phone and you're trying to chop it up a little bit and talk about this and that and that. And you finally get around to saying, hey, can we meet sometime and go, get together and have a lunch or something like that? You trying to date her, man. You trying to date her. You trying to put some, you trying to put some really cool spins on it. Like, I'm going to take you to lunch and, and all that kind of stuff. You're just trying to get somewhere with her, man. You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, these girls played games, man. Played games. Mind games. Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe, well, we'll have to see and we'll get to know each other a little better and blah, 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 blah. And you played that game for a minute because you was interested. You wanted to get with this girl. You want this girl actually to be your girlfriend. So you played that game with her, Yeah, well, we got to get to know each other, talk a little bit more. And you spent a lot of time calling this girl on the telephone, man. Calling this girl on the telephone because, man, you trying to get somewhere with it. You trying to get somewhere with it, so you're gonna put your work in. And then you finally get to the point after a month or so that she's finally at some point where she's thinking about getting with you. You played that game for a month or so and you're like, okay, well, I'm getting somewhere. She's saying maybe. That was the word back then, maybe. And like I say, as guys, that's what we had to work with, man. We had to work with that. We had to work with how the woman wanted it. Whatever the way they had the control on that whole thing, we had to just roll with it if we wanted to date her. So then, after getting a maybe, you might get lucky enough after a couple of weeks later, now that she feels that she gets to know you on the telephone and got to talk about this and that and who you are and what you are and what you've done and blah, blah, blah. Now you finally got an answer. Okay, we can meet after school. And you're like, yes, yes, I finally got that. Yes, it's been 2 months, but yes. And then guess what? After school comes, girl ain't even there. You over there standing by the gym locker, uh, uh, the gymnasium, you know, or you're standing out from the courtyard, or the quad, or whatever. You waiting wherever she told you to meet her. You over there standing and waiting in the carrying on, and now you got a no show. You got a no show. So now you're upset. It's been 2 months on the phone. You finally got to a spot where she says, "Hey, I'll meet you," and then she don't show up. So now we got to start this whole thing over again. Now we got to get back home, get on that rotary telephone, and we got to call her and find out what rejection is she going to give me on the phone now. So you get the girl on the phone finally, and she says, "Oh, yeah, well, something came up, and I had to do something." It's like, don't call, like I said, they don't call you to tell you about it because they ain't going to call you. Girls didn't call men back then. You had to call her to find out what happened and why she didn't show up. And here's the game. Hey, the game is to string you along, man. I'm just telling you this from an OG's perspective. Now, you can agree or not. Like I say, some of your OGs can vouch for that. And the fact that you still want this girl so bad, you put up with that nonsense. Oh, something came up and I couldn't make it or nothing like that, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to tell you something. We went through a lot of that stuff like that, all the time. All the time. All the girls, the women, were like that, man. They made you work for it. The same thing like, at the nightclubs, man. The men had to ask the women to dance all the time. And how you like that when you're going around from table to table or bar stool to bar stool? Hey, would you like to dance? No, not right now. And maybe later. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing in this club, man? What are you here just to hold the wall up? What are you here for? What are you in the club for? Just to tell men, not right now. Maybe later. And then she gets to go to her girlfriends and get to laugh about it. And she's like, man, I wouldn't dance with him. Are you crazy? Look at it. Oh, man, we put up with all kind of nonsense, man. Hey, would you like to dance? Maybe the next song. Hey, would you like to dance? Oh, no, not right now. Not right now. What the fuck you in there for, man? What are you in the club for? To just sit? But it was the game that they played, see? See, women were picking and choosing, see? Picking and choosing. Now, I ain't trying to make all you women look bad. I'm just telling you from an OG's perspective what I went through and all my other OGs. And I'm going to tell you how things changed. But that's what it was. On the telephone, got to call you all the time. Get a date. In a nightclub, got to ask you to dance all the time. And get turned down. So we got to wait for you, ladies, to decide when you want to dance. We got to wait for you ladies to decide when you want to get together. You know you're interested, but you're playing that game. You're playing that game. Okay? You're playing that game. Like I say, you young G's out there, you ain't got to go through what we old G's went through back in the day. The day you got all that online stuff and like that, you can pick and choose. But let's get to how that started. So I'm going to tell you from my own experience. Back around, say, 1985, 86 or somewhere around there, I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I ain't calling no women. I ain't going to no club chasing no women dancing. Now, you call me. No, you want to get together, you show me some interest, you call me. You want to dance, you get up the hell off your chair and you come over and ask me to dance. We're done with all that, man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit went out like a wildfire. I think all the men in the world got connected together mentally and just said the same thing. Said, you know what? We ain't calling no women no more, man. We ain't calling no women no more. We ain't gonna sit up and keep asking them, get turned down, dancing and all kinds of stuff. No, we're gonna make you do. Now you do the work. We've had enough games with that. So men just stop calling women for dates and things. They just stop. Cut that out, man. We went to the nightclubs and we stood around our little packs of dudes, man, got our sharp shit on, man, like that. We just standing back there looking like some cool dudes laying back at the club, ain't paying no attention to the women. They're all sitting up to say, well, why aren't they asking us to dance from that? Because you play games. You play games, man. We got done with the games. That's why. So now it's your turn. Now you want to dance and that kind of stuff. You come over to the guys where we're hanging like they're looking cool, man. We just kind of stretching back like this, man. They're hanging tight. We just hanging tight. We sitting back in the corner somewhere, man, hanging against the wall where they're looking cool, man. And all of a sudden, here they come. They come walking over. Hey, would you like to dance? Would you like? There you go. Sure, let's dance. Come on, baby. Let's go do it. Sure. You wanted to date, ladies? What happened? Now you have to start calling men because the men stop calling you now. So now that whole thing about I don't call men, that's what women used to say. I don't call no men. That shit went out the window. Went out the window because men all the way around the world just said, that's it. We're tired of chasing you and getting turned down, stood up, and all kind of different excuses, reason why you don't want to get together, and you don't tell us that you don't want to get together. You wait until we find out some other way, and then we got to call you and say, hey, what happened? Oh, well, my kids had to come over and I couldn't get out the house and blah, 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 blah. We put a truncate to that mess, baby. I'm telling you, man, we put a truncate, so I'm just telling you right now. And I'll part two this thing. But you young G's, like I'm saying, you got it easy today. You got it real easy, man. Thank God for the internet, man, because like I say, and cell phones. Thank God for the internet and cell phones and text message and all that, because now the way things are, because of the 80s, because of OGs like me, we made the game easier for you. We cut all that out, made women, hey, you chase us now. Now I ain't trying to brag about it. I'm just trying to tell you how it went down. I'm just telling you, I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. I'm one of those dudes that just said, you know what? That's it, man. I'm tired of getting turned down. I'm tired of getting, stood up. I'm tired of calling you all kinds of different times. I'm tired of trying to, it's bad enough we don't got cell phones or nothing like that, so I got to get a rotary phone or go to a payphone booth or something like that. I might get you on the phone. I might not get you on the phone. You see what I mean? So, anyways, like I said, you young G's, you got it easy these days, okay? You can get any woman, and look at them, they got profiles all online. You ain't got to do, you ain't got to chase them. Women chasing men all over the place now. You ain't got to do nothing. Get online, get on, get online dating services, and, women are coming up to men nowadays that have been passing their numbers out, and here, call me, this and that. Oh, it's so much easier, man. Us old G's made it a lot easier for you young G's, so I'm just giving you that news and that tip from an OG's perspective. It's like, we created the easy way for you to get women these days by shutting off. We cut them out, man. We just said, we made them chase us. And that's how that went down, okay? And that's how dating women in the past turned to what it is today. So you got that right there from an OG's perspective. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.